Hey guys, it's Nathan again. Today I'm going to be talking about in-text citations of direct quotes in MLA format. But what is an in-text quote? Well, an in-text quote is when somebody adds another's work into their paper. For example, if I was writing an essay about the science of a good dessert, then I can include a small excerpt from some other essay I found online. But how would I do that? You can't just write it in and include it as part of your paper. That's considered plagiarism. Plagiarism is when somebody steals another person's form of writing, such as a paragraph or sentence, and adds it into their own paper without giving them credit for it. Nobody likes it, and most teachers will give you a 0 since plagiarism is considered cheating. However, if you format it properly as a quote, then you're allowed to put it in your paper. Okay, so how do you format a quote? First, you need to make sure that the quote is always surrounded by
quotation marks.
It sounds obvious, but if you don't add the quotation marks, then your quote will be mistaken as your own writing, and that is the one thing that you do not want. Next, you write out the quote exactly as it appears in your source. Finally, you put a pair of parentheses at the end of the quote with the author's last name and page number where you found the quote. Let's say that the author's last name of the dessert essay that you found online was Jackson. So, the end of your quote in parentheses would read Jackson 25, signifying to the reader that your quote came from the 25th page of Jackson's essay. That's a lot of pages about dessert. Now you might be thinking, what if I want to include small segments of different sentences from the same source, right next to each other? Then what do I do? Our example quote says, "He added a tablespoon of sugar and watched it overflow with happiness into the mix." Now that's a silly example, but what if you don't want to include the part about happiness overflowing because it's not relevant to your paper? Well, here's how. After the first segment of text, you add a pair of brackets with 3 dotted lines in between. This signifies to your reader that the original quote had more text in between, but it wasn't relevant to your paper, so you took it out. Now, if you want to add more words for clarity that aren't in the original source, you add your brackets again, but this time just write your own words inside. Then you just delete the word you replaced. So back to our example. In this case, I want to clarify who added the ingredients. So I would add my brackets and write John Markson instead of he. This tells the readers who was doing the adding, but still letting them know that the original text did not include his name. So instead of saying, "He added a tablespoon of sugar and watched it overflow with happiness into the mix," your quote now says, "John Markson added a tablespoon of sugar into the mix." So that's how you add quotes from other sources into your own writings. Thanks for watching segment 7 of Crash Course MLA. And speaking of plagiarism, I want to give credit to F777 for the audio clip I played while portraying a cinnamon bun. That clip was from one of their songs called Airborne Robots, and I encourage you to check out the rest of their songs. Have a nice day!